Yes guys, and everyone here with BBA, and I'm just out and about doing some auditing today, and I've come across this as we were going through the village of Shenstone. So we've got Palestinian Lives Matter. How many children and people need to die before we stop making weapons to murder? And then weapons out of Shenstone. Got shut Elbit down. Evict Israeli war criminals. So yeah, I'll pick this back up.
Hey,
Oh yeah, what's going on? You good?
I'm good, yeah. Have you been around here before?
No, I'm just passing through. Got a YouTube channel. Just out getting content for that, and just see this place as I was passing, so I'm intrigued.
It's the world's largest arms manufacturer, private arms manufacturer, Elbit Systems, and they have got about 10 sites across England, but mostly.
And that's this site here?
One of them is here, yeah. This is actually drone engines as well. UAV Engines is a subsidiary of Elbit.
Right.
And most of those killed in Gaza are killed now by drones. 85% of the drones are made by, or at least the vast majority, the last statistic we got was 85% of the drones made by Israel are made by Elbit Systems.
Right, okay.
They also do a lot.
Do you mind if I sit here?
Yeah, of course.
Is that all right?
Right, I'll get you back to that.
Yeah, no problem.
Go on, I'm quite interested.
They also make a lot of the digital technology for security for all.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it, no problem. And also they own IMI, which is virtually a monopoly on Israel's small caliber ammunition. So the shootings of the protesters in Gaza in 2018-19, they were obviously shot by Elbit weapons as well. There was 250 Palestinian protesters killed, 67 children, and about 6,000 were shot with live ammunition, about 100 amputees. In Gaza itself, I was in Gaza for 2 years. I was a teacher at the university.
Right, okay.
And 2 of my students were killed. One of them, her entire family.
Wow. And
she was killed by a drone. And actually, 2014, when I was on, we did a protest on the roof of this factory in 2014 during the bombing of Gaza in 2014, and that was like the worst. That was, 2,200 Palestinians killed in 50 days. There was 500 children murdered, how many injured, 100,000 made homeless. The whole thing was just absolute horrific massacre. And while I was on the roof, my student, who I knew very well, I found out when I got down again. We were up for 3 days and we closed it, but a message came to me that from another of the students. I was teaching in a refugee camp, a volunteering one, and I also taught at the university. And her friend said, Adi, we're all torn apart, mother's been killed. She and her 2 little babies, because she'd had 2 babies by then, and a husband and mother-in-law, all with 1 bomb, and that was a drone. So you can imagine the connect when you're making drone engines here. They have had 25 licenses to Israel.
Right.
So, this is, they're always trying to duck and dive, these arms companies, as you can imagine.
How many did you say there are around the country here?
I'll tell you what, we forced one to sell up in Oldham. There was a 5-year campaign, because I'm actually based in Manchester.
Okay.
And we had a massive campaign there of 5 years. There was as well a group that has emerged in the last 2 years called Palestine Action.
Yep.
And they've done a lot of actions where they literally, because we were getting arrested for going on the roof or locking on and closing it and stuff. But they kept dropping the cases because Elbit didn't want to go to court because there was no, because they didn't want disclosure of what they were doing. Because we came with a big list of what we needed to know. Because our defence was we're trying to stop a bigger crime, trying to stop war profiteers. They're making money from this. They sell these weapons as field tested, for God's sake, and that's on a population of mostly kids in Gaza, as well as the rest of Palestine. So you can imagine that's our line, because that is the real line. Because you shouldn't be. It's the worst kind of gun running in town. It's weapons of mass destruction. It's mass murder.
Of course.
Running. And it's been well documented by all the major human rights organisations. Amnesty has just produced a detailed report calling it apartheid, like South Africa. After years of research on this report, it's not difficult. This Palestinians are being screwed, they're being forced out of their homes, being ethnically cleansed, and the worst edge of it is Gaza, where the majority of you ask where they're from, they'll tell you a village that doesn't even exist anymore because Israel's already forced them out. Most of them are refugees, already having forced out from Palestine, the rest of Palestine. They ended up in this tiny little enclave in Gaza. They had illegal settlements, they pulled them out and put thousands more in the West Bank, still taking over Palestinian land.
Yeah.
And then they surrounded Gaza with, you go to Gaza, it's F-16s in the sky and drones. You go to the land border and it's flipping guns and, the jeeps and the snipers shooting at the farmers. And this is what I'm seeing. This is what I've got videos of. I was there and shooting at school kids. And then you go and look out to sea along the beach on the west side, and you've got all these flipping gunships chasing after the fishermen, destroying the fishing industry. They don't allow them to go out. They literally shoot at the fishermen. Some many get killed or their ships get destroyed. Not ships, their boats. So this is your life as a population in Gaza, 2 million people, majority kids. And I was there for 2 years, and I taught these families. And I taught a family that lost 29 members in 3 days. It's a Mooney family. In 2009, they were rounded up, put in a big house. They'd already been shot, some of the mothers and the fathers, while the soldiers actually came in a land invasion, which was unusual. They went into the houses, shot people, and then they were all the rest were all put in one house.
Yeah.
They didn't allow any access. People went to look for firewood. 2 uncles were killed, so already 8 people had been killed. A woman gave birth in the house because it was all so crazy. There was a kid that had already been shot, 4-year-old, that died after 10 hours in a mother's arms. There's about 100 of this extended family all now, and then they made 140 calls to the Red Cross, and they couldn't get there because Israel was blocking with the soldiers. And then they bombed the building. So 21 people were killed with that one bomb. And then there was 2 kids and a dad still in the rubble for 3 days next to their dead family members. They just, at that point, most of them just got up and just walked past the soldiers. They were already half dead anyway. They just, the soldiers just ignored them. They got to the hospital, some of the others. That is, I taught them twice a week, and actually there was no parents around.
Tragic.
Because many were killed, or the only one left has got to work. So it was often like 12-year-olds taking care of 6-year-olds and all that stuff. Lovely bunch, lovely family. Samouni, Samouni. There's a big story about that.
Do you have any hope in change?
I do have hope in change, for sure. I'm just going to stop this.
No worries. If you don't mind me asking as well, how long have you been here for?
It's been...
Because you've got quite some supplies there.
It's 3 weeks tomorrow.
And how many over there are you here?
Well, there's loads that come in and out, basically.
Okay.
So, there's like people coming in on shifts and everything else like that.
Yeah, look guys, they've got everything they need here.
Yeah.
So this is a really good cause, of course. And
it's an arms factory. It's the worst kind.
Of course.
It's not difficult to, with South African apartheid, you broke the chains with a lot of the banks like Barclays because they invested in South Africa, and Mandela was in prison.
Yeah.
And so it's, we want to cut the chains, and of course, when you cut the chains, you are stopping, vital support. It's one thing just to make a noise. It's another thing to say, hang on a minute, we want to get in the way of this. These weapons should not be made. When the first bomb hit Gaza, my first instinct is, what the hell are we doing building these things? Like, we are insane. They're mini earthquakes. You're just, having Hiroshimas everywhere. And everything is shaking that shouldn't be shaking, and the screaming of the kids and everything else like that. It's insane. Gaza's one of the most populated places on the planet. So, and obviously we're basing, a lot of this, drawing the lines on South Africa. And of course Mandela has said our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who won a Nobel Peace Prize and went to Palestine like Mandela, and said it's in parts worse than apartheid South Africa. So where's all the action? We all said Mandela was a hero, and Tutu, and we obviously, fighting for black people. Where's all the outrage for Palestine?
Again, I guess that's down to the mainstream media, isn't it? And the mainstream media portray it in a complete different way to what the truth.
50-50. They try and say Palestinians are terrorists. They're just a population that are being targeted and moved on because of who they're born as, and massacred if they resist, and massacred anyway. In fact, just because that's the protocol of what Israel does to Palestinians. And not just that, but needless to say, here they're developing their weapons on the Palestinians. They've got a human laboratory in Gaza. They're saying when they're selling, when we want to test the weapon, we fly it over Gaza. You know, this is like they got some of the newest horrible technology to do it. And like I said, I was in Shifa Hospital when a lot of the people were coming in, because I was there during the bombing in 2012. And it was kids coming in, it was elderly coming in, and it was people crying. I was in the intensive care unit. It was a little girl, Haneen, was being rolled around the intensive care unit with dust coming off her. And the mother's outside, and she's screaming and screaming, and I'm going out. And we knew that the kid had just hemorrhaged.
Yeah.
And I'm having to speak, you know, I couldn't tell her that the kid's just died, of course, it's for the doctors, but we're just walking past. It's the trauma afterwards that people don't know about. That's who I met. I was meeting the grieving tents, and, you know, they're in the grieving tents for 3 days. And everyone comes and visits, and it's horrible. And it's
No, not today.
hey, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah, good, thanks.
Got more
Lovely to
people
see you.
here, so
It's going well. It's going well. Lots of community support, I'm pleased to say. It's
Well, that's good, because there's a lot of other alternative propaganda.
well, there is, isn't there? There is. I know. There's
But it's a
also.
bit like life in general, isn't it?
It
right?
is, isn't it? I mean, to be honest with you, there's going to be, you know, like Amnesty do a report and say Israel's an apartheid, like South Africa, like against Mandela. You'd think people would listen to Amnesty International, and it took them long enough to do the report. And then you've got Mandela and Tutu saying it's worse than apartheid. They went to Palestine. So why aren't we listening to people like that? You know,
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
like the
They
people.
don't like to show stuff on the real. They don't like to show the real news.
Exactly, they don't.
It's all false.
And they throw a lot of flack, and obviously Israel has a lot of supporters that throw a lot of flack if you say anything about it and all the rest of it. But I was in Gaza for 2 years. I was a teacher there. I lost 2 of my students. I was there during the bombing in 2012, and I was there in the hospitals when they came in, and I know all the parents that are still screaming and crying because of their kids that they've lost, and yet they're buried. No one knows.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get stuff out on social media and whatnot, but they should be reporting everything about this. And had they been doing their jobs.
The thing is, social media, they block you if they don't agree with your content.
Yeah.
You're gone.
well, that's it. I'm
happening.
on YouTube, you see, and it's exactly the same thing, mate.
Well,
Yeah.
So there's a bit shoot.
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you looked at that one?
There's a
I
few more
haven't
now.
myself, but I've heard of it.
Because we kind of had social media for a while when it first came, and now it's just corporate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't see
Well, it's
anything.
owned by all the corporates.
I know.
That's the problem.
I know. I had a page that was like, had about 7,000 people liking it. It was about Palestinians and stuff. And we used to get tens of thousands of views. Within 5 years, the page number of likes has doubled, and yet we get a few hundred now.
Yeah.
So there's an algorithm, and they stop it.
They stop it
and
coming
and
through.
It's a big blockage.
Yeah.
So, you know, we know where the battle is drawn. But I have to say, as much as you always get a couple of propagandists for Israel, and you get a couple of people thinking that this is, you know, that they don't know, they really don't know, and they want to dig in, so they'll argue against. But generally, I have to say, I was surprised that we had more of the support here from people passing. I think there's a lot of people that are not so vocal.
Yeah.
And the key thing is this is it's a weapons factory.
Well, the thing is, you're not doing it because you've just put it out of thin air.
Exactly.
There's reason for it.
Yeah, it's
This is
been-
what I say to my
Yeah.
parents, not
Yeah.
doing it because, you know, they
Cool.
just thought, oh,
We've all got jobs here. We have other lives. I don't have to. I wouldn't choose to be here otherwise. Yeah.
That's wrong, that is.
I know.
You know, trying to push it one of them things.
Totally. That level of connect is so harsh, so horrible, that honestly people will be running in there to smash those windows, smashing it up, because it's
Have you
only.
actually had any conversations with anybody?
To be honest with you, you only get security here, and I don't really want to be having conversations with the security, because I mean they're just paid, they're brought in. I mean, you know, people get they were nasty to a couple of people about a week ago, and typically they arrested one of our guys with us, two of them. But other than that, I've just not been interested in what they're doing really. They're just brought in from a private company,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But obviously it's the guys in suits, you know. But they've been ducking and diving throughout this whole thing. It's been about, you know, quite a few years now.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, but they have been ducking and diving. They don't want to raise their head above the parapet because they're in weapons If you trade in weapons, the whole idea is that you keep quiet.
And commit war crimes.
Yeah, commit war crimes.
And ultimately make a
Yeah.
fortune.
I know.
billions.
Because that's what it's all about.
Particularly these weapons,
But
which
it's
are
for
war
profit,
crime
that's all
weapons.
it is.
Elbit is one of the most profitable countries in Israel, and of course they're dealing in weapons. And where better place to develop your weapons than when you've got an occupation where you can practice on people, you know?
Their
So
share price goes up whenever they bomb Gaza.
Yeah.
Like triples or double their stuff, selling. So it's like they're advertising their wares by literally bombing people. It's
Yeah.
really sick.
Well, most economies are built on war at the end of the day, aren't they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what it's all
Absolutely.
about.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, this company makes so much money compared to other Israeli companies,
Yeah.
and sadly, Britain its sales to Israel was 80 million or something, and it went up a couple of 100 million which they'd never breached before, after they bombed Gaza 2014 and killed 2,200 people in 50 days.
Yeah.
So this is like the toxic industry where, you know, your stock goes up the more lives are ruined. That's the insane part of the industry. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you know, the world will always be either in war or at war
Yeah.
because it's so profitable.
Well, of
Yeah, of course.
And
Of
there's
course.
there's resources. It's oil at the minute. It might be water in the future. It could be minerals. It could be gas. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it worth me?
It's
Climate change.
it's all
Water is going to
intrinsically
be
linked.
It is.
like oil, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it worth me taking your email, like, just so that we could, if you want, I can just send you whenever, you know, something might be happening. You don't have to reply or anything. Can I just get your email or something?
Look at
Yeah.
nothing but a cup of tea.
Yeah. Oh, have
Nope,
a
let me
tea.
pause. So yeah, you heard a little bit there of what's going on and what that gentleman there has experienced as a teacher in Palestine. As he said, he lost a couple of his students, and this is the company that are building the engines for these drones, and these drones are what have been guilty of killing hundreds if not thousands of people. But they've got a few locals there as well asking questions. Those locals sound very nice. They also don't have any real true faith in what your mainstream media news is trying to put out to you all. But maybe we should get something going on these. Maybe we should get something going, some investigations going on all these sites up and down the country. This isn't the only one. They're saying they managed to get one to force to close in Oldham, I think he said that was, earlier in this video. But I'll pick this back up anyway, guys, and I'll leave it there for a minute. But yeah, these guys have been sitting here some time. I will find out how long they're going to be here for, and then I'll bring it back. Peace.
happened the last few weeks.
Right, okay.
Like I say, when it first happened, they've arrested 12 people in there, which is outrageous because there was, you know, they're in the trees, they're in the camping, but they were not doing anything, and they hadn't done anything. But they took out all 12.
Do you know, that's another thing we're noticing, like they're clamping down on like people's rights within like the freedom of being able to protest.
Yeah, of course. This is a big deal.
And that's a big deal as well for us and my viewers as well also. There we are, that's probably your charger. What's up? What's up, bud?
Take a load of pictures of me, my car and all that. All I did was turn around.
Take a load of pictures, buddy.
No.
Huh? Or was it your work phone that you used? Because you'll be breaching GDPR if you're working for it. Are you a security?
No.
Okay, so who are you?
Only a business who I am.
So why are you taking pictures of him?
Listen, I'm doing no pictures.
Didn't take no pictures?
No.
Alright, so why were you just shouting
Yeah.
him?
Get that on my face now.
Pardon?
Get that on my face.
I won't get out of your face, mate. Don't start getting aggressive. Don't start getting aggressive, mate.
Soft.
Don't start getting aggressive. Alright, buddy, right? Are you security?
None of your business.
Alright, well, I'll get police here to ask you instead.
What was that then?
Just threatening behaviour then. I just want to know who this gentleman is, because None of these guys seem to have an SAI card on show. That's against the law. So yeah, it looks like we're gonna have to start coming here, guys, and highlighting this. I don't know who that gentleman is there, but he just got very aggressive for no reason. Not one of them have got an SIA card on show. So apparently they've just been taking pictures of the vehicle that I've turned up in today. So we'll have to find out what that was all about. Yes please, I would love one.
Yeah, I want to store some more water for you.
I'll be with you in 2 seconds. So these gentlemen here, they look very gang type guys, all masked up. No one's got an SIA card on show. They look like members of a gang. The way they was just approached then was absolutely disgusting. You can shake your head, guys. That was just disgusting what he just done there.
Alright, you're gonna be ringing the police as well, because I want my shit off your phone.
Anyway, we've just been offered a cup of tea, so I'm going to go and have a cup of tea with these lovely guys over here in the tent that are protesting. These are the people that are working for a company that are what looks like maybe suspicious, very suspiciously maybe guilty of war crimes or building the engines to the drones that are definitely guilty of war crimes. Anyway, so I should pick this back up, guys. Peace. So we've got a field over the road and we're going to go stick the drone up. But these security guards here, man, are brutal. I'm telling you now. To be fair, they're all built, big old boys, I'll give them that. But they're all dressed like gang members. Woolly hats on, masks on, no SIA badges on show. Throwing their weight around, being very aggressive. So yeah, I'm gonna get the drone up and I'll bring this back. So yeah, guys, this is a crazy one. I may cover quite a little bit more of this and this company. This little protesting that's going on here is ongoing, and they are looking for people to come up and spend the night and see if we can pull up any numbers. What do you think, guys? Do you think between us we can pull a load of people together? That's very much what I want to do. But I'm going to leave this one here, I think, in a minute. But there's a lot of barbed wire and stuff there. But yeah, very aggressive. Very aggressive. All he was doing was pulling the car around in here. And the way he come out, he then turned around and said he wasn't security. But he looks like security to me. It's in the building. That guy in there was very aggressive. Very aggressive. also guys, also here, right, we've got the map of Palestine back in 1946, and there's the territory of Palestine. Everything you can see there in the dark blue. Then by 1947 it was already stripped back to that. 1948 to 1967. By 1967 it was looking a lot like that, and then now today that's what exists of Palestine. Absolute crazy. That should just give you some kind of idea there of how Israel have driven the Palestinians out, or the Palestinians, sorry, out. Crazy. So yes guys, we're going to leave that one here for now. I will be coming back up and reporting on this and doing some more stuff on this protest here, and definitely highlighting those security and also these companies that we've got, Elbit Systems UK. So yeah guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, there's been, just before I drop this, there's been 15 arrests in the last 3 weeks, all let go on further investigation, and really it's just been used as a tactic to use those bail conditions to keep them away from the protest. But yeah, we'll be highlighting some more of this and seeing if we can get a few numbers up here also. So thanks for watching the video guys. Thanks to AD, the guy we see earlier on. Thanks to the other guys as well, that hospitality was great. And yeah, thanks again guys, much love and peace out.